good evening, and welcome back, my dear friends and fellow American patriots. That was a nice little break. A nice little break. Good to see you all. I see I got Burning 47 in the line here. First one to be here with us today. I was trying to play a little bit with the coloring, see how that looks out today. Every day I'm playing with the colors. It never comes out the way I want. It's too bright, too dark, etc. Welcome, Ozzy. Ozzy, man, I'm surprised you're in here, man. You're normally over there with our boy Graham. You got to come in here and drop some facts. Well, first of all, as you guys can see, the only people that are commenting is blue and green, so it seems like it's working, okay? I set it up so that nobody, unless they're subscribers, can comment on the chat. So if they're subscribers and they're trolling us, there's nothing I can do about it, guys. It is what it is. Robert, welcome, my friend. Tyler, good to see you. My man in the house, man. I love having my big bros. You guys are all my big bros. Funny thing, I will tell you guys before we get some libtards in here. Let me see. Nope, we probably got libtards in here listening already. I got a link sent by Omar, my big dog, little brother. And he sent me a link to watch. Let me see if I can find it. I had it ready for you. We're going to listen to, this is the Starbase, Pete Hegseth and Elon Musk. Well, obviously, the whole speech is going to be Pete Hegseth. So we're going to watch that, and then we're going to go ahead and get back into our ICE subjects and what these crazy presidents are doing against our own people, man. It is unbelievable to think that these guys are so anti-American. We will end the night with hey Linda, hola, ¿cómo está? We are gonna go and end the night with the crime chef. The crime chef is actually gonna put Omar as one of the little Karencitas. But I'm gonna play that because there is a couple of things in there that she says, and I want you to really pay attention. Plus, I'm going to play this clip probably a couple of times tonight. I've seen this clip before, but my brother Robert sent it to us so that we can watch it. It is a clip from, it is a short from Valuetainment. Man, I wish Valuetainment called me in, man, and just bring me in to do some tearing down some of these illegal immigrants that try to come into our country. Trump loves your people, Dennis. Yes, he does, Robo. He really does, man. President Donald Trump is supporting Honduras. I can't wait to see how else he's going to be supporting us. Baby, can you do me a favor? Can you grab me a coffee? Sorry, I got to ask the queen. She's going to get me some coffee. I love it. And you can take just what? Don't even play. Stop playing, woman. That's it. I have to fire my assistant. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's play the short clip first. You guys may have seen this already, but we're going to play this, and I want you to understand something. I've talked about this a lot before, and I mentioned it just not too long ago. Remember what I told you about the Democrat Party, right? I know, my friends. Just wait. We'll watch the event. Remember what I told you about the Democratic Party? They are no longer Democrats. They have blatantly come out of the closet, like all these LGBTQ crazy people. They are socialist, Marxist, communist. And all of those three things have one thing in common. They destroy countries, and the people in power are the only people that actually get to enjoy all the riches and all the benefits of such said systems. With that being said, I want to play this from Robert sent it to me to share it with me. But I've seen this clip, but I've actually seen the original video as well. So let's take a listen to this, and then we get into our live event.
These people have lost the plot. They have no God. Name me one Democrat, and I'm not saying be as proud as I am, or as Pat, or as Tom with our faith. Where are the people that believe in God? Where are the God-fearing Christian people that have any backbone, any faith? They lost it, Rob. It's all LGBTQ, open the border, fraud. Name me one thing that this party stands for. It's enough playing pussyfooting around and going, no, there's some good ones. There aren't. Please play this, Rob, of how this is the mentality of what they do to your brains if you're watching this and you're a Democrat. Go ahead.
In 1943,
8 wars and a quarter.
the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
These
There you go. Oh, too much, but thank you. I know Robert will say there's never too much coffee. Perfect, babe. All right. That's my beautiful wife tending my needs. I appreciate her. That's why I love her so much. That is the beginning of our night. And we're going to go ahead and listen to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. And I think Elon Musk is going to introduce him in here. So I want you to really understand that when I tell you, okay, you guys that have been here with me, you sat here through some painful hours. And we listened to Professor Wolf. Remember Professor Wolf? He is the professor that teaches socialism. And he is the one that says that the new socialism includes Marxism and communism. And I'm going to tell you something. When somebody tells me that this is true, first I got to see it. And now that I see all three of those things in the Democratic Party, that is exactly what they are. They are socialist, communist, Marxist. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people that are out there protesting, okay, they're misled. You'll see. By the time that we get to the Crime Chef video, you'll see what I'm talking about. There is really no trying to make sense with libtards, because they won't make sense. They won't listen. Even if we show them facts, they won't listen. There's a bunch of bots. There's a bunch of trolls. Yes, some people get paid. Some people just do it for the hell of it. But, you know, if you want to talk, let's see, it's all fake. Just ignore it and follow Jesus. Indigo, yes, but we still have to talk about it. David Blackburn, why are you a member? Why are you a subscriber? I really want to know. Why do you subscribe to my channel as much as you hate us? Is it just to troll us? Is it just to say bad things? All right, we're going to go ahead and get rid of you, because there's not going to be that many haters, hopefully. There's probably not going to be that many hater subscribers. We are just going to get rid of, refuses to elaborate, ended 8 wars in a quarter. Don't forget the quarter. You got to add the quarter. Eight wars in a quarter. Now, a lot of people think that we need to bomb people and go in soldiers and fight this big war. No, that's not what it takes. You got to be able to be diplomatic. You got to be able to make deals. You got to make them agree with each other, and you got to let them know, listen, this is what you can do, and this is what you can do. If you don't want to do either of those, then I'm going to come in here and you're both going to get a spanking from daddy. And that's how it works, okay? So don't get all politically correct on me, because that you'll never understand. If you keep making yourself politically correct, you will never understand. Now that's a better. I like that better. You will never understand what we're talking about, okay? So try to keep an open mind. And with that being said, we will dive deeply into that subject. But first, for all of my patriots, let's take a listen to our leader, the Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War. And Elon Musk.
Hello. Hello, everybody. right, welcome to Starbase, Texas. This is a city, it's actually legally a city, that thanks to the hard work of the SpaceX team, we built out of nothing, and is now a gigantic rocket manufacturing system. So, and for people out there who are curious to see it, we're actually on a public highway, so you can come and visit and drive down the road and see the epic hardware. So, I think this is the first time that a rocket development program has actually been on a public highway. So you can come and see the epic stuff. We're honored today to have the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and much of the senior leadership of the Pentagon here. It's an honor to have them visit. We just did a tour of the factory, and I think it really helps illustrate how manufacturing and manufacturing at scale is critical to the strength of America. So, and I'll tell you a little bit just about the purpose of SpaceX. It's like we want to make Star Trek real. Okay? We want to make Starfleet Academy real, so that it's not always science fiction, but one day the science fiction turns to science fact. And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships. And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships, with people going to other planets, going to the moon, and ultimately going beyond our star system to other star systems where we may meet aliens. Or discover long-dead alien civilizations. I don't know, but we want to go, and we want to see what's happening, and we want to have epic, futuristic spaceships with lots of people in them, traveling to places we've never been to before. Yeah, that's that's the goal. And that's what I think the public thinks of when they think of Space Force. So, on that note, I'd like to introduce the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth.
Thank you, Elon. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. How about this? Star Trek real.
Star Trek original. Yes.
Appreciate it. I love it. Well, what a tour. What an opportunity to be here at Starbase, Texas, with Elon and the SpaceX team. There's nothing like this in America. There's nothing like this in the world. And what you have built and what you will build here is a testament to the strength of American ingenuity and American invention. So I want to thank all of you, all the folks out here for having us today. Elon, thank you so much for hosting us, for what you built, for the vision you have for this company, the vision you have for our country, the vision you have for American innovation. I could not think of a more fitting venue to continue our Arsenal of Freedom tour and to outline today the future of technological innovation at the War Department. Those of you here at SpaceX will appreciate this, knowing that as World War II was ending, the Secretary of War and Secretary of the Navy wrote to the National Academy of Sciences and declared that scientific research was essential to our national security. To ensure continued preparedness, they wrote, the research scientists of the United States must be called upon to continue in peacetime some substantial portion, that of which they have made so effectively during the stress of the present war. The competitive time element in developing those weapons and tactics may be decisive in future conflicts. You see, those secretaries of war and Navy many decades ago recognized the importance that innovation and readiness holds for our national security. They knew what was at stake, the very freedoms of the country we hold dear. All across the United States today, extraordinary innovation is unlocking new possibilities for freedom, prosperity, and security. Now, the question before us is not whether or not the most powerful technologies of the century will reinforce free societies. Is it going to reinforce our free societies, or will that technology be shaped and twisted by malign regimes that seek to use those technologies for control and coercion? You see, over the past several months, I've talked at length about the challenges we face in transforming the War Department to address current and future missions, all in service of meeting the needs of the 21st century warfighter. I'd like to think we've already made dramatic progress in the Pentagon's culture by reviving the warrior ethos, and we're moving out quickly in transforming our acquisition ecosystem as well. But today is about how we supercharge innovation at the War Department for the era ahead. Innovation is happening at a pace we can't even foresee, and we need the entire enterprise, our enterprise, to embrace the urgency required for this moment. Since the end of the Cold War, the defense industrial base in our country has consolidated. This makes it difficult, if not impossible, for new creators of technical innovations to win business at our department. The result is a risk-averse culture that prevents us from providing our warfighters with the best resources that America has to offer. That ends today. Simply put, the United States must win the strategic competition for 21st century technological supremacy. Artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, quantum, hypersonics, and long-range drones. If you talk to Elon Musk long enough, he will tell you how important hypersonics and long-range drones are, and he's 100% correct. Space capabilities, directed energy, and biotechnology are the new areas of global competition. The challenge is that our legacy approach to technological development assumes that technology moves in a predictable, linear conveyor belt from lab to design to development to prototype to test and qualify to program of record, and can only be provided by a handful of companies that have consolidated dramatically. Now, while this system provided us with the weapons that won the Cold War, it is archaic and inconsistent with the novel threat environment that we face today. At its core, this old approach has the hubris to assume that you can easily predict the future, that you can foresee how an invention becomes a weapon in 8 easy steps, 3 decades from first discovery. Our system cannot keep treating innovation as a decades-long, one-way march that dramatically reduces who and what is able to run the gauntlet at our department to get the capability to the warfighter. Until this administration, the Trump administration, the department's process for fielding new capabilities had become just one more post-Cold War peace dividend relic that has not kept up with the times. Worse than that, we've done nothing but add layer upon layer of committees and councils that coordinated but never decided. We created endless projects with no accountable owners. We have high churn with little progress and few outputs. That sounds about like the exact opposite of SpaceX. We treated innovation as a box to check, not an outcome to deliver. In short, when it comes to our current threat environment, we are playing a dangerous game with potentially fatal consequences. We need innovation to come from anywhere and evolve with speed and purpose. You see, America's open scientific community is an advantage authoritarian regimes cannot replicate. They can read our scientific papers and copy our invention or distill our AI models, but they cannot replicate a culture like this one, of open and distributed research. We need to be blunt here. We can no longer afford to wait a decade for our legacy prime contractors to deliver the next perfect system, only to find that it's delivered years behind schedule and cost 10 times what it should. Winning requires a new playbook. Elon wrote it with his algorithm. Question every requirement, delete the dumb ones, and accelerate like hell. That's why I want to make clear across the War Department and for our partners in the private sector that our Undersecretary of War for Research and Engineering, Emil Michael, right here in the front row, is the War Department's single Chief Technology Officer, one CTO for the entire enterprise. Novel concept. As the sole CTO, Emil will set the technical direction, lead the innovation ecosystem that will welcome progress from anywhere it resides. And he'll tell me, face to face, every day, and frankly, whether we are gaining or losing the technology and innovation competition. He'll have the decision authority and will lead through rigorous evaluation with a focus on real, measurable outcomes. Now, Congress, and we have many members of Congress with us here today, will be our partner in this. By affirming the Undersecretary's role as the department's CTO, we're carrying out the core mission for R&E that Congress assigned in statute. The last defense bill expanded the CTO's authorities, including the power to direct military departments and other components to align around clear, innovative outcomes. We will use them to deliver those outcomes with speed and urgency. An empowered CTO will inject a disruptive mindset directly into our systems, directing the power of America's world-leading scientists and entrepreneurs, our cutting-edge labs, the tech ecosystem, and our capital markets to build what the warfighter needs, but to do so better, faster, and cheaper. And Emil is the right man to do it. You see, this isn't about military structure. This is about building an innovation pipeline that cuts through the overgrown bureaucratic underbrush and clears away the debris, Elon style, preferably with a chainsaw, and to do so at speed and urgency that meets the moment. As I've said repeatedly to every audience, the President of the United States and I have the backs of our warfighters, who have to make split-second life and death decisions on the battlefield. Now, I want this audience to know that we also have the backs of innovators who share that very same urgency. American taxpayers, especially those parents whose sons and daughters have answered the call to serve, I swore in 10 more today, demand, and I demand, and we demand, that we arm our warfighters with overwhelming and lethal technology right now, not a decade from now. In modern warfare, the fastest innovator and iterator will be the winner. And no one can out-innovate an American entrepreneur who has been liberated from the constraints of stifling bureaucracy. That old era ends today. We are done running a peacetime science fair while our potential adversaries are running a wartime arms race. Right now, from garage startups to factory floors to boardrooms across our nation, the question of how to harness innovation coming out of America's AI ecosystem is front and center, and rightfully so, because it has the potential to disrupt and transform every area of human endeavor. The same is true in the Department of War. President Trump's AI executive order spells out our approach succinctly. It is the policy of the United States to sustain and enhance America's global AI dominance in defense of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the War Department's mission. We must ensure that America's military AI dominance so that no adversary can exploit that same technology to hold our national security interests or our citizens at risk. America first in every domain. Last month, I took the first step toward changing how the department does business with frontier AI technologies when we announced the rollout of Gen AI with our partners from Google. And I want to thank the Google team for leaning forward and making the investment to get their Gemini app to about 3 million users in the War Department. But today, we're excited to announce the next frontier AI model company to join GenAI.mil, and that is Grok from xAI, which will go live later this month. So I want to thank you, Elon, and your incredible team for leaning forward with us on this as well. Very soon, we will have the world's leading AI models on every unclassified and classified network throughout our department. Long overdue. To further that, today, at my direction, we're executing an AI acceleration strategy that will extend our lead in military AI established during President Trump's first term. This strategy will unleash experimentation, eliminate bureaucratic barriers, focus on investments, and demonstrate the execution approach needed to ensure we lead in military AI and that it grows more dominant into the future. In short, we will win this race by becoming an AI-first warfighting force across all domains, from the back offices of the Pentagon to the tactical edge on the front lines. The catalyst for this acceleration will be 7 pace-setting projects focused on mission threads across warfighting, intelligence, and enterprise missions, each with a single, accountable leader, aggressive timelines, and measurable outcomes that answer a familiar question, Elon. What have you accomplished this week? This is the execution standard for AI-first transformation. Each of the 7 pace-setting projects will use the following model. 1 owner who reports monthly on their progress. These projects will not be run in a vacuum, but will work directly with warfighters and transition partners to ensure we incorporate real-time operational feedback. We expect rapid iterations with failure accelerating the learning curve. These are not science projects. They are not governance boards. They are the execution standard for the entire department. We will not win the future by sprinkling AI onto old tactics like digital pixie dust. We will win by discovering entirely new ways of fighting. That's why we will run continuous experimentation campaigns, quarterly force-on-force combat labs with AI-coordinated swarms, agent-based cyber defense, and distributed command and control, pushing the envelope, learning from failure at every stop, which is exactly what this place does. You see, our department doesn't accept failure in the past, and so we never fail, which means we never learn. We're flipping that dynamic. Before talking about the new rules of the game, let me talk about a little bit more about our new team, because no game can be won without the right team. And we're proud to announce that Mr. Cameron Stanley has been appointed the new Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Officer, CDAO, of our War Department. Cam will be leading a new team, many of whom have foregone, thank you, or left lucrative careers at pioneer companies such as AWS, Databricks, Palantir, and Meta to join the fight. This team will not only provide a catalyst for change in this department, but will also act, we believe, as a magnet for other talented members of the tech community who want to join us in doing the mission-focused work to protect our great republic. So let's talk about the new rules. First, speed. Speed wins. Speed dominates. Our enterprise currently operates on staffing and committee cycles measured in months and years, and that's unacceptable. Military AI is going to be a race for the foreseeable future, where the risks to U.S. national security of moving too slowly outweigh the impacts of imperfect alignment. To do this, Cam and his team at CDAO will define AI deployment velocity metrics for all the pace-setting projects in the next 30 days and report at least monthly after that. These will become the new benchmarks for programs across the department. Second, bureaucratic blockers. If you work with Elon, you know he finds the blockers and you remove them. We will take a wartime approach to people and policies that block this progress. You want to block? You can work somewhere else. Barriers to data sharing, authority to operate, or ATOs, test and evaluation, and contracting are now treated as operational risks, not simply bureaucratic inconveniences. We are blowing up these barriers. That's why today, at my direction, I'm establishing a barrier removal SWAT team under R&E with the authority to waive non-statutory requirements and escalate to our great Deputy Secretary, Steve Feinberg, anything that slows down the acceleration of AI capabilities. Third, compute resource. We will invest heavily in expanding our access to AI compute, from data centers to the tactical edge, and will tap into hundreds of billions of dollars in private capital flowing into American AI. President Trump's executive order has directed us to build data centers on military land and to work with the Department of Energy to ensure that we dramatically increase the number and breadth of resources needed to power this computing infrastructure. We will work together with our partners at Google and AWS and Oracle and SpaceX, Microsoft and others on these initiatives. Fourth pillar, especially in this room, you'll understand it, is talent. We will use every hiring and pay authority available to us to bring the best American technical talent and reward effective AI transformations by our workforce. We're going to heavily leverage President Trump's Tech Force initiative to bring in the best and brightest from industry and academia. With people like Elon, David Sachs, Emil, Mike, and others from the entrepreneurial and business world already in government, we have shown that we can and that we must enlist the world's leading talent in this cause. Fifth, responsible AI. Today I want to clarify what responsible AI means at the Department of War. Gone are the days of equitable AI and other DEI and social justice infusions that constrain and confuse our employment of this technology. Effective immediately, responsible AI at the War Department means objectively truthful AI capabilities employed securely and within the laws governing the activities of the department. We will not employ AI models that won't allow you to fight wars. We will judge AI models on this standard alone: factually accurate, mission relevant, without ideological constraints that limit lawful military applications. Department of War AI will not be woke. It will work for us. We're building war-ready weapons and systems, not chatbots for an Ivy League faculty lounge. Sixth, and finally, data. AI is only as good as the data that feeds it. And the U.S. military has an asymmetric data advantage from 2 decades of military and intelligence operations that no other military in the world can replicate. But right now, we are underutilizing this advantage. Too much of our data is stranded. It's stuck in bespoke program databases, locked behind Title 10 or Title 50 stovepipes, invisible to operators, engineers, and industry who can help us exploit it with winning speed and scale. And that's why today, at my direction, CDAO will exercise its full authority to enforce the DOW data decrees and make all appropriate data available across federated IT systems for AI exploitation, including mission systems across every service and component. Each service secretary and component head will submit catalogs of their current data assets to the CDAO within 30 days. Denials of data access requests will be reported to the CTO within 7 days, and they better have a good justification. Today, I'm also directing the Undersecretary for Intelligence and Security, Brad Hansel, to ensure appropriate data from across our intelligence enterprise receives the same treatment and can be fully leveraged to warfighting capability development and operational advantage. AI is only as good as the data that it receives, and we're going to make sure that it's there. Persistent barriers to data access will be escalated to the Deputy Secretary of War for resolution, with authority to reassign or terminate personnel or withhold funding from non-compliant activities within the statutory limits. We'll be clear here. As I said, data hoarding is now a national security risk, and we will treat it that way. AI is an important part of the future, but here's another truth that we've ignored for too long. Beyond AI, we've treated every other kind of innovation as if they're the same. As you know, they're not. We need to break down unnecessary barriers to rapid technological development, adoption, and transition. Some of you will remember this. A generation ago, one of my predecessors, in a dinner speech to industry now infamously known as the Last Supper, advocated for the consolidation of our defense industrial base. This consolidation created a closed innovation ecosystem dominated by just a handful of prime contractors. The results have been characterized by soaring costs, sluggish delivery, and stagnant innovation. That's what President Trump's recent executive order on the defense industrial base and defense companies seeks to address. It makes crystal clear that the priority of the legacy prime contractors must be our nation's national security, not the next earnings call. That means less focused on stock buybacks and more investment on the men and women on the factory floor. It means less stockholder dividends and more investment in infrastructure, plant, and equipment. Today, that old era comes to an end. The Department of War is reopening to the disruptive energy and agile creativity of our nation's tech startups, funded by our world's leading capital markets. I'm directing my Chief Technology Officer to lead this charge, and his wingman, as always in this effort, Undersecretary for Acquisitions and Sustainment, Mike Duffy. For too long, we organized our ecosystem around stages and silos, labs over here, so-called rapid units over there, commercial outreach in a different building or on another coast altogether, and warfare fighters somewhere at the end, almost an afterthought. The result is duplication, drift, and confusion. And like the acquisition process we are already fixing, the creation of organizations to work around the problems in the innovation ecosystem rather than taking the bold steps needed to transform it. We created an whole ecosystem to get around the actual system. No more. Every dollar of innovation, whether it may be in a lab or a startup or a classified shop, must exist to deliver one of three things: game-changing technology, scalable products, or new ways of fighting. If it's not doing one of those three things at speed, it will be realigned or it will go away. And that's why I'm entrusting Emil as the CTO to ensure that this directive across the department is rapidly carried out. Emil, you're going to be busy. Again, what we're talking about today is a transformation in the way we think about innovation. In requirements reform led by Mike Duffy, we killed an old model, a sclerotic model, and rewired the department so that problems, money, and experimentation live in one system. In acquisitions reform, we killed the defense acquisition system and created accountable portfolio acquisition executives, making speed to delivery our organizing principle. We're going to do the same for technological innovation. That's why today, at my direction, we are ending the alphabet soup of councils that meet and brief and write memos and schedule meetings, but never decide and rarely, if ever, accelerate outcomes. Effective immediately, the Defense Innovation Steering Group, the Defense Innovation Working Group, and the CTO Council are disestablished and abolished. In their place, the CTO will convene a CTO action group to assist him in making decisions, clearing bureaucratic blockers, holding leaders accountable, and most importantly, quickly delivering new technologies to our warfighters. Every organization in this ecosystem must earn its place by delivering warfighting advantages faster than our adversaries can adapt. No sacred cows, no exceptions. To back up the CTO, today at my direction, we are realigning two pillars of the War Department's innovation ecosystem. First, the Defense Innovation Unit, or DIU. Since its establishment 10 years ago, DIU has lived through shifting reporting structures and uneven administrative support, doing great things, but at times its portfolio overlapped with other parts of the department. Effective today, DIU is designated a Department of War field activity, providing exceptional tech scouting, rapid contracting, and other common services to the department, executed at commercial tempo. The CTO will provide support to DIU for administrative and resource matters and ensure that the unit's efforts fit into the department's innovation priorities. The director of DIU will also continue to report directly to me as a principal staff assistant and carry out its statutory duties. And I'm appointing Mr. Owen West, executor of my Drone Dominance Initiative, as the director of DIU starting in March, when the FY27 budget cycle firms up. As a Marine with lots of combat experience, Owen will bring a warfighter's mentality to DIU's core mission of transitioning technology to our troops. Owen also has the private capital experience needed to ensure DIU remains working hand in glove with the venture and investor communities and continues to on-ramp new entrants into the War Department. Owen led DOGE at DOW, the most effective DOGE effort across the administration, saving tens of billions of dollars for our department, and now he will lead DIU. Our world-leading defense tech startups have attracted billions of dollars in capital. They're reshaping warfare through the proliferation of high-tech, low-cost technologies. DIU's mission is to accelerate the adoption of this commercial technology to help convert entrepreneurial products into tangible combat power. Second, the Strategic Capabilities Office, or SCO, is also being designated a Department of War field activity aligned under the CTO. SCO will maintain focus on its core mission of identifying and prototyping disruptive applications of new systems, the unconventional uses of existing systems, and near-term technologies to create strategic effects. SCO will continue to maintain its statutory direct reporting relationship to the Deputy Secretary, but will be operationally realigned under the CTO to eliminate duplication and ensure the relentless daily focus on delivering near and medium-term capabilities to our warfighters. Relentless urgency and focus is our focus. Today's defense innovation ecosystem is too fragmented, resulted in insufficient technology transition to the warfighter. We address some of this in the transformation we are making in the acquisitions ecosystem, but it also needs to enter the innovation ecosystem. For too long, and I know a lot of you have experienced this, and others we met with in Los Angeles recently, the experience of founders and entrepreneurs has been running endless laps around the Pentagon, looking for the right office, the right program, and the right motivated sponsor. And too often, new entrants are ultimately stymied by the bureaucracy. We hear it time and time again. They don't know where to go, and then when they go to that place, it's not the right place to go. Then they go somewhere else that didn't want them in the first place, and the lap continues. For example, SpaceX and Palantir had to sue the Department of War just to get a shot at competing for department contracts. The bottom line is that new entrants need both a shot on goal, but also faster yeses and faster nos from the department, rather than being strung along with a never-ending stream of rudderless maybes. At the Secretary of War level, we will replace the existing maze into two clear channels. The Mission Engineering and Integration Activity, MIA, will tell industry what problems we're trying to solve, and DIU will help program offices adopt what industry has already built. This will help get to faster yeses or faster nos. Clear guidance, clear guide rails, clear demand signal, which is what industry and capital expects. Now, this isn't just an Office of the Secretary reform. The services need to transform their innovation ecosystems as well: the Army, the Navy, the Space Force, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force. That's why today, at my direction, our military services will take the following actions. Within 90 days, the secretaries of the military departments will brief the CTO on service innovation plans, how they will consolidate, streamline, and refocus their labs, research expertise, experimental units, and rapid capability offices around 3 innovation outcomes: Our 60-plus labs are a national asset. But it's past time they were organized to deliver and not just to discover. And beginning with the fiscal year 2028 budget, every portfolio acquisition executive will fund an innovation insertion increment, III, dedicated money for the last mile, integration test and rapid insertion of validation solutions into fielded systems. Innovation cannot be centralized, and it should not be. In fact, hope it's okay I name them, but just this past weekend I received an email, a proposal from an Army captain named Drennan Green, who I've known for a while. He had a detailed plan about how he and his unit wants to deploy AI. Innovation can and should come from anywhere and anyone, wherever those best ideas reside. We're going to bring that good captain in and hear from him. How can we apply those tools in his unit and other units, bottom up, not just top down? The military services and program offices own the last mile. And to that end, I'm directing the services to establish that III, Innovation Insertion Increment, within the budgets of all program portfolios. This will ensure that they have funds set aside to quickly integrate innovations during weapons system development. This will be a tool to free new, innovative, cutting-edge weapons and improvements from the constraints of yearly budget cycles. Here you iterate in terms of hours and days, maybe weeks. In Washington, we talk in terms of months, years, and oftentimes multi-years. It's too slow. The CTO ecosystem will give them the supply. Services are contributors to this ecosystem, not bystanders. They must deliver outcomes, and they must deliver overmatch. And speaking of budgets and budget cycles, you may have seen President Trump's truth post of a few days ago. He's proposing a $1.5 trillion budget for the War Department in fiscal year 27. This is by far the most ever in our history, a historic and generational investment in American security. We will not squander this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rebuild our military. Think of what this means as our efforts to transform the department come fully online. You add resources and you streamline process, speed to deliver those capabilities to the warfighter, an invitation to new entrants into the defense industry, which we need so badly, and an embrace of AI and other cutting-edge defense tech. All of this will make our forces more agile, more lethal, and more ready to deter and, if necessary, win a future fight. This is what President Trump demands, and this is what we will deliver. This feeds into a next area we need to fix. You see, reorganizing and a new attitude are not enough to truly unlock innovation for the warfighter. Our department needs to capitalize on a key advantage America has over her adversaries: the broadest and deepest capital markets and the best entrepreneurial talent in the world. You know this, capital is the lifeblood of American innovation. And therefore, to be successful, we need to embrace the role in our department of private capital, which we have not done for far too long. We need to be a better partner for private capital, so we can help accelerate capital formation in key areas and lower the risk for the department. Private capital is already helping to solve a major problem that President Trump has directed us to confront and solve across this administration: ending our reliance on competitors for access to rare earth and critical minerals. The Office of Strategic Capital, or OSC, under the leadership of David Lorch, is spearheading those efforts and delivering as we speak. In the past 5 months alone, the OSC team has deployed over $4.5 billion in capital commitments as part of closing 6 critical mineral deals, all of which will help free the United States from market manipulation. Crucially, OSC's strategy relies on crowding in private sector investors, from this VC community to our country's largest financial institutions. The 6 OSC deals to date include nearly $5 billion from our private capital partners. OSC has closed most of those deals in less than 30 days, which is Trump time for complex transactions. That may seem maybe slow for SpaceX. In Washington, that's as fast as it gets. I mean, that is warp speed in Washington. All of our investments serve one purpose: deliver faster for the warfighter. Now, some will want to cynically posit, is this just another innovation reorganization? Another set of strategies that brief well but don't actualize? No. This is the third leg of a single war plan. In fundamentally transforming our acquisition ecosystem, we killed JSIDs that focused only on process and turned the JROC into a body that ranks real-world joint operational problems, not paper requirements. We created the MIA to run experimentation campaigns to solve these problems. We killed the old defense acquisition system and created the warfighting acquisition system to focus on speed, risk, and accountability. With the AI strategy and innovation ecosystem transformation that we have just outlined, we are welding that third piece into place. The CTO, DIU, SCO, DARPA, CDAO, and OSC are no longer a loose federation. They are the Office of the Secretary of War's Innovation Operating System. DARPA delivers game-changing technology innovation and strategic surprise. DIU delivers scalable products. SCO delivers new ways of fighting. And CDAO and OSC provide the data, test, and capital to move at wartime speed. As of today, they are an ecosystem, an arsenal of ideas and action for the arsenal of freedom, wired directly into requirements, portfolios, and production. Game-changing technology, scalable products, new ways of fighting, all three moving at wartime speed. Problems drive experimentation, experimentation flows to prototypes, prototypes flow to our program executives flow these to production, production flows to the warfighter, and the cycle never stops, always iterating. One system, one purpose, speed to the fight. We are preparing to win the future because we know, and you know, for the free world, for the West, the stakes could not be higher. Before this administration, our adversaries may have thought they finally broke American power. They're wrong. They do not have our entrepreneurs. They do not have our capital markets. They do not have our combat-proven operational data from 2 decades of military and intelligence operations. They do not have our hard-won classified technologies. They do not have the ingenuity and tenacity of American warfighters who refuse to lose. They don't have a military that can go 37 hours to downtown Tehran or downtown Caracas without being seen in the process. You see, but none of that matters, however, if we suffocate those advantages under a stifling bureaucracy. That's why we're unifying the innovation ecosystem, making this an AI-first department, and holding every lab, every program accountable, all while pushing every officer to deliver warfighting advantages faster than others can adapt. We will not stop. We will not back down. We will forge the new arsenal of freedom with our partners in industry and the private sector. We believe the future will be shaped by those who lead in technology and innovation. We don't believe, we know. Those who fervently believe in freedom and the Western tradition, like we do, must be those leaders. If not us, if not America, if not the West, then who? And if not now, it will be too late to maintain that advantage. This is not reform for the sake of reform. It never has been. This is about whether our warriors fight with yesterday's tools or they fight overmatching our adversaries using tomorrow's technologies. We know the threat. We know the opportunity. We know what must be done. We share the urgency. Now we will do it, and we must do it at wartime speed. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this company that you've built. And may God bless our great republic. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well. Now that you guys have my attention, let me see. Some people are still on a 30-minute timeout. That's because they don't know how to behave. They don't know how to respect the host of a live. If you want to have some questions, you can ask questions. If you want to make a comment, you can make a comment. But unfortunately for you, unless you put in a super chat, you don't get to have my attention. If I can spell right. Yes. I like it. All right. Everybody else will be ignored. So if you don't like this channel, shut the hell up and get out of the way. All right. Our first video, it's going to be a little clip from the 5, Fox. I know the zinc roofer loves it when I talk about Fox. So let's go ahead and give him some satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction. We're going to start here for a reason. Let's take a listen.
Well, I'm Dana Perino, along with Emily Campagno, Jessica Tarlov, Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The 5. And breaking news just moments ago, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, we've talked about him, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey announcing that Minnesota will be suing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and other DHS officials. And the goal is to block the surge of immigration enforcement in the state. Watch here.
This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop. DHS agents have sown chaos and terror across the metropolitan area and in cities across the state of Minnesota. The Trump
Welcome, Pat.
administration's decision to target Minnesota and Twin Cities is motivated.
Cool Cat Renee in the house with the message. If you are illegal alien, it's so-called jump the fence. You committed a crime against the United States of America. And I agree with that message.
Motivated by a desire to retaliate against Trump's perceived political opponents.
If this were about fraud, then you'd see an invasion perhaps of accountants. But that's not what you see. What you see is people
Secretary
being
Kristi
indiscriminately
Noem.
taken off our streets.
We do see the fraud, and you trying to put your attention on ICE is not going to get that attention away. We still want Somalis to be held accountable, and I want every single Democratic politician that has been supporting this Somali fraud, especially Ilhan Omar, which we will close today's live with her. But be patient, not yet.
And those words come as new protests erupt in Minneapolis. Demonstrators can be seen harassing federal agents across the city. And new video shows the latest angle in the deadly ICE shooting of Renee Good. Her vehicle is stopped in the street, the horn is blaring, and Good can be seen dancing in the driver's seat as officers surround the car. Federal officials call her actions a threat, but Minnesota's
Well, she ain't dancing no more, is she?
Democratic leaders say they were not, and they are demanding accountability.
She's like doing a 3 or a 4 or 5 point turn. 3-point turn or a 4-point turn is a domestic terrorist, and my wife is a criminal every single day.
She's not mad. She's sitting in her car, peacefully waving.
Wait, pay attention to this real quick. I want to know why she hasn't said this to the people that she and everybody else is sending to protest. Listen to what she says real quick.
Cars to get by. He should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car. It's hard.
You should know. Well, I'm glad you said that. Why don't you tell all these protesters to stop doing that? You see how they lie? You see how they get caught? You see what I'm talking about? And they say we lie. Go ahead. Let's give the floor to Ilhan Omar again. Yeah, she's very bright, isn't she? She can't even cover her lies. She got caught with fraud. It's just a matter of time. These commies, they're not going to be here forever. I can guarantee you that. Their time is coming.
Peacefully waving cars to get by. He should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car.
It's hard for me, looking at the evidence that I've seen, to imagine how he could feel bodily.
You should know that you should not try to get in front of a moving car. Isn't that the most hypocritical thing that you have ever heard? Now, I want you to notice something that she does when she says that.
A moving car.
It's hard.
Right there, right before it. You don't see it.
You should know that.
But as soon as she says it and she realizes that they're telling protesters to put their bodies on the line, as soon as she says that they should know better than to get in front of a moving car, she looks down like, ah, shit. That's right. You don't get to see it because they cut her off. But that's what she does.
That you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car.
It's hard for me, looking at the evidence that I've seen, to imagine how he could feel bodily harm.
No U.S. citizen should be afraid of their own government, and that is what ICE has created.
The actions of ICE, they are...
I'm not afraid of my government. I'm not afraid of Trump or the administration, but I am pissed off at the Democrats, for sure, 100%. Especially with this finger lady.
Unconstitutional, unlawful. They are cruel. They are rogue. They are racist.
And over in
They are racist, says the lady that told a congressman to keep Martin Luther King out of his mouth because he ain't black. Yeah, she is racist.
Portland, to a case involving two suspected Tren de Aragua gang associates. The Justice Department charging a Venezuelan man who got shot by Border Patrol. They allege that he rammed a Customs and Border Patrol vehicle multiple times during the targeted arrest.
He rammed the ICE agent's vehicle multiple times. They are Tren de Aragua couple. She even has a little little tattoo on her eye. Isn't that wonderful? There's still the remnants of Maduro's BS upon the United States of America. And what do white guilt Americans look like? Well, you're about to find one out.
Portland's police chief actually cried while revealing the suspect's gang affiliation.
White guilt.
They do have some nexus to involvement with TDA.
Just retire, you puss.
Okay. We can confirm that. I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday.
So a lot to get to as we get going on a Monday. Jesse, I'm not even sure quite where to begin, but you have beautiful notes. So I'm going to let you start.
So DHS gave Malusian a list of the bad hombres that they picked up in Minneapolis in the last 2 weeks. This is just nasty. We got a Laotian illegal who was convicted of sodomizing children. We got another Laotian illegal convicted of rape and strangulation. A Somali.
And yet this is what these morons are out there protesting to defend.
Illegal convicted of homicide. Another Somali of manslaughter, a Mexican convicted of homicide. And I could read this list for the next hour. And so you send ICE in because Minnesota's not holding these guys. They're roaming around the city. So you have to go into these neighborhoods blind, cold, in frigid conditions, and you
don't get in front of a moving vehicle. Don't get in front of cars, guys. You might get hit. Look at this, guys. Not only do they get in front and behind the cars, they surround cars, which is a sign of a threat. And then on top of that, they also block traffic. That is no bueno, amigo. No bueno.
You have to do dangerous, targeted raids at homes, not knowing who's behind the door and how they're going to react. You see how some of them react? They drive their car into you over and over and over again. So you get this militant mom who's out of her mind, and she puts her vehicle, 2,000 pounds, and blocks a convoy of law enforcement, pinning the convoy down in a street. It's very dangerous when you're dealing with guys that are at large, convicted of homicide and raping children. And so she drives into him. We know the rest. But why are they doing this? Why is the Democratic Party sending women into the trenches to put their bodies in between foreign criminals and federal agents? Why would they do that? Why are they willing to sacrifice the lives of American women to protect foreign criminals?
And yet the hypocrites come into our channels and called us pedophilia team. I don't know what the hell that means, but that's what they call us. They go ahead and say, oh, well, you support Trump. He's a pedophile. You guys support all of that criminality in our country, and you got the nerves to come into our channels to tell us that we're criminals. Shut the hell up. Maybe you'll hear something if you listen. Pay attention. Or maybe you're already corrupted and you don't care. And maybe that is just your nature. Which is case, I understand. Hey, Derek, how are you, brother? Good to see you in here. Tanya, I see you, Tony. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys being here. MJ, I see you, brother.
Is it because of the cheap labor? Is it because of the political power that the census gives? What's the reason? Is it because they're in on the welfare scam? Maybe. I bet when they get power, eventually they might. They just ran
Renee Good was no bueno. No bueno.
Amnesty through. They created the conditions for this poor woman's death. They pour millions of people in here. They commit crimes, steal welfare, and then the Democrats circle the wagons around them. So you can't get them out of here. That's what's going on. They're exploiting this woman's death for political power, and the Trump administration is not going to back down.
Yep, 100%. I agree. I don't need to listen to more of that. Christine Owens, however, has something to say.
Joins me now. Ms. Secretary, you've been out there on the ground. What have you found out so far?
Well, Jesse, the amount of fraud in Minnesota is unprecedented. It's incredible what we've found. And we did surge operations there the last 48 hours. We've sent 2,000 more ICE officers, HSI officers, individuals there to help get to the bottom of it. But what we're finding is not only people who've come into this country illegally, but they've perpetuated crimes on people. Then they've...
You just reminded me there, brother. The wife should be prosecuted. Not only that, but I think that these Democrats that just open this lawsuit against Trump and ICE, I think that I'm going to tell you something right now. I am actually pissed off with President Donald Trump. I know what you're thinking, Patriots, but I'm actually kind of pissed off. I'm actually kind of pissed off because let me tell you something. If these Democrat lunatics can make all of us look like demons, can really just try to destroy our country in front of our faces, I am pissed off that President Donald Trump is not putting all these people in jail. I'm going to tell you something. I'm pissed off that he's building a $300 million ballroom. I think he should grab at least $100 million and make a nice, big, beautiful prison like the one in El Salvador. No mattresses. Keep the room at average temperature, room temperature. Not hot, not cold. Give them what they actually need to eat. Eat 3 times a day, no cable TV, nothing. Let them know that when criminals commit crimes, when they go to prison, it's not a 5-star hotel. They're going to eat not the best food. They're going to have food that has nutrients. They don't care about flavor. They're just going to eat what they need to eat to survive. Cameras need to be all over the place so that everybody knows that they got something to eat. No cable TV. No cell phones. No visits. Okay, maybe visits. They can have visits. But I can tell you, there's going to be no mattresses. There's going to be no extra blankets. There's going to be no excuse to commit suicide in jail. That's right. So we need to build a big, beautiful prison for all these criminals. And we should have a special place where you remember the asylums for the crazy people. Remember those rooms where they can't hurt themselves? We need to build a big size, like a gym, like a stadium size room like that, and throw all of these violent supporters in there. I mean, rioters and protesters in there, and you just let them go ahead and yell inside that room. Let them have a couple of hours, maybe a day or two. Make sure they got some good food. They can have some rice and beans and a glass of water. Maybe if they behave, you give them a load of bread. And maybe that's going to be very, very nice for them. So I'm very disappointed with Trump. I think that that he's been, not prioritizing well enough. This whole thing about this, Democrats can commit $19 billion fraud, and not just in one state, but they can spread it to Ohio, Oregon, California, Washington State, Colorado, I heard as well. I mean, now you have in Utah, you have a Somali running for governor in Utah. Can you believe this? The balls of these people, that it doesn't matter how much corruption they have, they get to go around rampant and do whatever the hell they want. So, yes, I'm a little disappointed on President Donald Trump. I don't blame people when they say, oh, look at him. He goes to Venezuela and does this and this and that, and he does nothing here in the States. I don't blame them. I agree to a certain extent. I am upset with President Trump because of that. But not because he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Everything that he's doing, I think, is great. But I think that they are being too soft on these Democrat politicians. And I don't care what any libtard says. The FBI and all this enforcement, law enforcement, should be after every single one of these politicians that try to put their citizens against us and the government. That is not constitutional. That is unlawful orders. Remember? That's right. It's unlawful. You know what? The police department in every state and every city has the right to not help ICE, but they have every single obligation to make sure that the citizens are still respecting the law and they are letting them break the law, and they should be held accountable for it. They should be firing chiefs of police. They should be firing and arresting mayors and governors, just like they try to do for President Donald Trump. That tells me that they can do the same shit for governors and mayors. So I don't want to hear excuses. I want to see these guys in jail. F them all. They've been trying to go after us and after Trump. Well, guess what? It's retribution time. I want some payback time. Don't worry, we'll pray for their souls. But here on earth, they have to pay the price for breaking the law, for inciting violence, for trying to destroy our country. That is treason. They got to go. They got to be in jail. And all of these people that are out there supposedly protesting, but they're actually obstructing justice, is the biggest example and fact that I can show you that Democrat leaders have failed this country and they should pay for it. With that being said, let's go ahead and let Kristi Noem say what she has to say.
Stolen the American citizens' money, and they've put it in their own pockets and then the pockets of other individuals that are here. Businesses, individuals that bought luxury homes and took vacations, and they all did it using somebody else's money, and money that should have been used to help people who really was supposed to benefit from these programs. Medicaid individuals that were supposed to get help for developmental services, that were handicapped individuals, people who had autism that needed services, and they didn't get it because these criminals were out there stealing the money and instead benefiting themselves.
All right, so they're ripping off the most vulnerable members of society, and people were blowing the whistle in Minnesota, and the politicians weren't listening, were they?
No, absolutely not. In fact, so many Minnesota state employees were saying, Governor Walz, pay attention to this. People are stealing the money. These are not legitimate businesses. They are not legitimate nonprofits. And he ignored them. He told them to do their job and just follow orders and exactly what he was telling them to do and overlook all of these criminals. And they felt like very much they were whistleblowers who were being ignored or bullied into being quiet.
Are people thanking you when you're there? I mean, it seems like you're rounding up a lot of bad hombres, and it's kind of out in the open. Do people come up to you and just say, you know, we've been dealing this trouble for a long time, you know, we appreciate it?
They do. The people that are on the streets, you know, we surged the last 48 hours. We've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals off the streets in Minnesota and people that are a part of this fraud scheme. So this morning, I left D.C. at like 2 a.m., got to Minnesota in time. We arrested a murderer, someone who was extorting money in other countries, and also sexual assault perpetuators, individuals who were attacking children. So we've gotten them off of the streets, and we did it with no help from Governor Walz, no help from the Democrats. Those who are trying to cover it up, we've ignored them and done the work that President Trump has given us to do. And thank God we have a president that wants to make America safe again for every single citizen, regardless of where they live.
Well, the governor of California says, bring it on.
Oh, we'll be there. We think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Minnesota is unbelievable what we've seen, but it is leading us to networks all over the country and overseas, and we're going to follow every single one of them. Homeland Security Investigations is an incredible team of individuals who go after human traffickers, sex traffickers, but the fraud that we have in our public programs that are tied to California, absolutely. We're going to come to you, Governor Newsom, and we're going to arrest every single individual that has ties to this kind of stealing of taxpayer dollars, and we will hold them accountable. We'll bring them to justice.
Good. I think you're going to hit the jackpot out there in the Golden State. Secretary Noem, thank you so much, and thank everybody on your team for us.
Well, well, well. You can't hide it forever. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what actual tyranny looks like. Now, for some of you that don't believe that there is extremism in some of the religious beliefs, like Muslims, well, if you guys will probably have heard what's going on in Iran. Well, I'm going to show you what's happening in Iran, and I want you to pay attention because this is a religious problem, but in reality, the Democratic Party is going towards this. And I say this because they have gone after President Trump like he is the worst criminal on earth. And that's because they don't like him. That's because he can't be bought. It is very simple. You know, somebody came into this chat and said, hey, Dennis, what does it feel to be the most hated person on the internet? Well, first of all, I'm not that famous. I don't have that many people. Oh, by the way, thank you for the likes. Thanks for subscribing. We're already at 15,800 subscribers. So thank you guys for subscribing. You guys keep pushing me forward. I wish I can do a lot more lives throughout the day, but you know what? Fatigue is a real thing, and I don't want to fall into that category myself. So this is what's happening in Iran, and I want you to pay attention because eventually, very soon, what people on the left are asking for is this.
This hour, take a look, the latest on the protests in Iran that are now nearing 2 weeks. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has signaled a major crackdown is coming, despite serious warnings from President Trump. Iran's Attorney General warning today that anyone taking part in protests will be considered a, quote, enemy of God, which is punishable by death. And the AG adding even those who, quote, helped rioters could be sentenced to death as well. Right now, we know the regime has shut down
Isn't that that's a great religion, ain't it? That's a great religion, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, all they have to do is say, you're an enemy of God. And that's it. Just like that. You're done. Bye-bye. But you guys keep protesting criminals in this country. You guys keep protesting ICE that are trying to arrest terrorists. Not just terrorists and rapists and murder, all kinds of criminal aliens. And for you guys who keep defending these illegal immigrants, you guys are the root problem of our country. We want migrants, but we want migrants that can be vetted, migrants that can do something nice for this country. That is the kind of people that the United States of America is looking for. They're not just looking for some illegal immigrant that wants to come here, go to work, and make something for themselves. No, it's not about what they can do for themselves. It's about what they can do for this country. This ain't no charity place to come in and abuse the system. Just because they're used to living on a very garbage full of area doesn't mean that they're going to come and live and make that house over here. They come from a third world country. They don't come to assimilate, and they come and bring all this garbage in here. And you guys accept it as if it's like some sort of holy water that is given to you. No, it's not. It's garbage. Just because they come and buy your tacos at your business, it doesn't mean that they're supposed to be here. That's not how it works. The people are so selfish. People are so selfish. Oh, well, my restaurant was busy before they started taking all these illegal immigrants out. Well, you know what? They shouldn't have been here in the first place. I see. This is where I don't care about business owners. When the business owner does not want to respect the law, and just because they want to make a buck or whatever, it doesn't mean that we're going to comply with illegal immigration. That's not how it works. We have to respect it. One way or another, you got to respect it. I'm going to be flying out of here very soon. And this is not an announcement for everybody, but for those of you who think this is fake, I'm going to show you how fake this is in just a bit. I'm going to be so happy to be able to show you, but you don't get to see the good content. Only members will be able to see the content that I'm going to show them next week. Don't worry, you still get involved with our regular lives, but I will have some private lives on the things that I'm going to be doing next week. For the next few weeks, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. Very, very humble, very grateful. Very grateful to be able to have an opportunity to be able to serve my country by having this channel tell the truth, research information, try to dissect the information. See, people automatically, because I'm supporting Trump 100%, because he does think the way that I think, they automatically think that I've been brainwashed. But let me tell you something. When President Donald Trump is done, what do you think that I'm going to do? You think I'm still going to go, oh my gosh, President Trump is not here, I'm done? No. America continues. America continues. I know. Only my members, very few of my members know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to rejoice. And of course, I thank every single one of you guys, especially Baba, because Baba has been sending me money through PayPal. He's been buying me coffee through PayPal. And with PayPal, I get 100% of it, you know. So I appreciate it when people go out of their way, go to my profile and send money through PayPal if they can. You know, especially business owners. You know, I'll give a big shout out, you know, to Motorsports Plus. That is Baba's business, and I appreciate that. You know, this is what I do for a living, guys, and without your support, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I thank every single one of you guys for being a member, if you can. For being a subscriber, and for your positive words while I'm in here, because as you can see, they actually come in here very hateful. And well, my friends, it's not easy to have a live channel where you are actually allowed to interact with people, or you allow them to get your feedback in live time. You know, most podcasters, they don't do what I do. You know, there's a lot of people on the leftist side and some conservatives as well that do what I do, but there's people that have millions of subscribers. They don't have the live interaction. So, you know, people can appreciate it or not appreciate it. That's all right. I'm okay with either one.
Internet in the country and cut off phone lines for folks living there. President Trump has put the Iranian regime on notice, repeatedly saying that the U.S. could intervene and strike Iran if protesters continue to be killed.
They've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. Well, we're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard. And so far, for the most part, there's been some of it, but for the most part, they haven't.
And you were looking at some of the video there. Now, we do have that statement that came in from Iran's attorney general. This is just a portion of it, but it does say, translated, prosecutors must carefully and without delay.
The zinc roofer is a very wealthy man, he says. And yet all he does is tear down the poor, hardworking man. See, people that have money, like the zinc roofer, which he says that he is rich, they don't give a shit about anybody that is our class. People that are trying to make a living. People that take a pay cut to be able to come out here and share the truth. That's the rich people that we don't like. We like the rich people that support, the rich people that help people come up, be successful, edify them, giving constructive criticism, not over here thinking that your shit smells like roses, because it doesn't. You're still going to die. Everybody's going to die. We all have our days counted on this earth. And I, as a religious person, I am ready to go whenever God calls me. It doesn't matter the situation. But for those of you who don't have God in your heart, for those of you who have no salvation of your soul, you are going straight to hell. And then it will be too late for you to say, doggone it, I should have done something about it. So you can enjoy your money, zinc roofer, and go ahead and enjoy your hateful attitude towards a guy that is trying to spread the truth to the American people, an actual migrant who respects the law and actually loves this country. You and your rich ass comes over here to put me down and try to make fun of the low audience that I have. I don't give a shit. I can have 10 people in here, and as long as we are fighting for this country, I'm okay with that. I don't need to have 1 million viewers to come over here and say that I love this country. So you can grab your money and shove it up your ass and shut the hell up, and let's continue watching the video.
By issuing indictments, prepare the grounds for the trial and decisive confrontation with those who, by betraying the nation and creating insecurity, seek foreign domination over the country. Proceedings must be conducted without leniency, compassion, or indulgence. Now, we did see Secretary of State for the U.S. Marco Rubio post simply this on social media today, quote, "The United States supports the brave people of Iran." And the State Department itself posting on X saying, do not play games with President Trump. When he says he'll do something, he means it. Again, a look at some of the video here coming in out of Iran at this hour of those large protests that do continue. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency reporting that at least 65 people have been killed during the demonstrations, with more than 2,300 others detained. The Supreme Leader stating Trump is at least partially to blame for these protests. There is so much to discuss here, as always, so I do want to bring in Jonathan Salye, a research analyst at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy's Iran program. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
It's great to be with you, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And as I mentioned, this is a story that so many people are paying close attention to, not just in the U.S., not just in Iran, but all over the world here. Can you kind of break down the Supreme Leader's comments there regarding President Trump and his role, he says, there in those protests and demonstrations?
So this has been a tactic for years now by the Islamic Republic, trying to delegitimize these protesters by using these fake accusations that they're operating on behalf of a foreign government. And as you pointed out, these are serious accusations. under the Islamic Penal Code, any form of espionage or operating on behalf of an adversary, quote unquote, is punishable by death. But that said, this particular wave has been very receptive to this administration's public diplomacy. We've seen what protesters are chanting on the ground, and they've absolutely heard what President Trump had to say, what Secretary Rubio have to say. These acts of solidarity have gone a long way. They've been very inspiring to the Iranian people. So it is really a moment that we need to back this rhetorical really remarks with action.
I also want to ask you, just overall, as we go kind of back to basics here, can you explain just how these protests really began and what the protests are all kind of related to?
Absolutely. So there has been a major really increase in anti-regime sentiment, of course, starting back in 2009 when I was involved in these protests back when I was in Tehran. At that phase, the trigger was mostly political. That of course, got cracked down on. Then we saw wave after wave starting in 2017, 19, 2022, and now this current wave. And although they've had different triggers in the past, for example, they may have been a political trigger like 2009, or environmental triggers because of water scarcity, or a social trigger like we saw in 2022 with the Women Life Freedom Movement, or in this case being an economic trigger, the collapse of the rial. Nonetheless, the grievances are going beyond just demands of whether economic reform or political reform. The demands are inherently regime change by the people. And we're seeing an increase in a nationalist sentiment, a desire to bring back the monarchy led by Pahlavi. So that is really what is generating the momentum with this current protest wave.
And again, you're looking at some of the video coming in out of Iran, and you can see just how many people are involved in these different protests. We've also seen some of the objects there, vehicles and such, that are lit.
And yet, as soon as we go and help these people, we are going to be the bad guys. That's just the way they always paint us. We are always the bad guys. All right. And with that being said, we are to the point of showing you the last video of the night. So all you libtards didn't acquire any intel from our side. Apparently, you guys can't leer anything. Everything you have leered already, it's useless in life. So let's get into the Crime Chef's last video where he brings a very special guest.
Observe the modern political Karen in her natural habitat. This time, the Karen isn't a random bystander. It's a sitting member of Congress. Armed not with facts, but with entitlement, she approaches a secure federal facility, ignores established rules, and then acts shocked when those rules apply to her.
Two officials came in and said that they received a message that we were no longer allowed to be in the building and that they were rescinding our invitation to come in and declining any further access to the building.
Ilhan Omar arrived at an active ICE processing center during a period of heightened unrest, demanding immediate access, then instantly claimed victimhood when federal agents did exactly what they're trained to do: secure the facility. This isn't about oversight, it's about optics. And when the Karen...
Isn't that ironic that the woman that calls white people devils is married to a white man? I find that very ironic. That's a little weird, isn't it? Yeah. And then her profile picture is not her little Somali children and family. It's not the black Somali ex-husbands or anything like that. Nothing of that. It's the white man hugging her from behind. That's right. Hypocrisy to his finest, isn't it?
Playbook fails, the reaction is always the same. Let's take a look at what actually happened on the ground.
Hey guys, Congresswoman Angie Craig. Hi guys. Hi. We are exercising our congressional authority. I'm Congresswoman Angie Craig. Congresswoman Kelly Morrison. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Can we talk to you guys in there? Yeah. If we can come past, then we can probably.
See, the problem with this, excuse me. The problem with her and the rest of the people, right, from Congress, the representatives, the problem with them coming in here unannounced, you can't do that. You got to give him enough time. You got to give him a call, schedule a day when he can come in. That way they can grab personnel and divide according to the needs to secure the perimeter and whatever needs to be done. They have to grab people from certain posts. They need time and notice. But what I'm going to tell you is this. There is only one reason she comes here with the mob. She comes in here abusing her authority. She knows what she needs to do in order to get access to that building. But what she's trying to do is cover her fraud. See, they're like this. They are nervous. They're like a palpitating chicken butts when they check for eggs. They are worried because they got caught red-handed and they will soon be facing justice. So they try to make any of these little stunts to make people think that they care, but in reality what they're doing is they are hiding their criminality. Now, is there some innocent people? I think there is, but they're just retarded, okay? So they're innocent, but that's because they're retarded. And or evil. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they are no innocents. Okay? I'm just giving them a benefit of doubt. So they're coming into this building. They know they can get access. There is no access denial. But when you come here unannounced, we know what happened. They've been told. This is not the first time they do that. They try to do that in New Jersey. You remember that one? Remember the black girl that was over there assaulting an officer? Which, by the way, how come she didn't do any jail time? Right? I'm still waiting for that. And so they already have the experience. They know what they need to do. And then she comes over here with the mob and then grabs her own, their own phones, and everybody's recording and acting like that ICE agents or the people in charge of the facility are just rude and they don't respect authority. No, there is a process. There is a policy to follow. There is rules. There's regulations that everybody needs to follow. They got their degrees at the Leering Center. These people from Somalia, they just don't listen. And every other white guilt American that goes to the Leering Center is just never going to lear what real life is about. That's why they never lear about the law. They never lear about order. They just can't lear. I don't know, guys. They just can't lear.
We have our
contact our supervision, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you guys can move this way so we can have a conversation with them, that would be great. Great.
Is that okay?
Please step back. The gate is coming down.
Further. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Move to the side.
Let's be perfectly clear. Ilhan Omar knew she was not going to be allowed into this facility. She did not coordinate with ICE. She just showed up with her camera crew with the intentions of causing a scene and getting headlines. This is no different than the Mayor Baraka situation in New Jersey.
Thank you, Crime Chef. I promise you I have not seen this clip. I have not seen it. I just grabbed it because I saw Ilhan Omar. I think that's what I just said. Maybe the Crime Chef says it better than me.
You, man. Why do you have your pepper spray out? Why do you have your pepper?
By the way, Ilhan Omar forgot her chapstick. That's why her lips are all chopped up. I know I laugh and I make jokes and I call people retards and idiots and all this and that, but in all reality, man, I'm very saddened. I'm very saddened by what's been happening to our country, man. They started with, day one, they got hurt when President Trump said that he can't be bought. All hell broke loose. They've been hating this guy. You know what? There's a clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about a phone call that she had, and I guess a lot of people heard it, where President Donald Trump was upset at her because she's been trying to get all these victims from the Epstein files in to visit, blah blah blah, and they were shaking and they were like, "Shut the hell up." I think Trinity knows what I'm talking about. Trinity, where have you been? Where have you been? Busy sister. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to play. No. We'll leave that for tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow we'll go ahead and play Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we will dissect it because I think there is some stuff in there that she says that very ironically she really is just washing her hands and trying to make herself look good. But I think that she's a snake. I don't think she's honest. I think she is a liar, just like she cheated on her husband. I think that she's been cheating on us, the American people, as a woman in Congress. Is it Congress? I think it's Congress. Yeah, Congress.
What's the danger? Man, you should quit your job. You should quit your job.
You guys stay.
Now, ask me that. Why do these ignorant people here? Why do they always tell ICE agents you should quit your job? You should quit your job. What? Arresting illegal immigrants? Why should they quit their job? How about they go get a job, and then maybe they can quit that job for a good cause? Oh, that's right. Maybe they're getting paid already.
Thank you, sir.
Portal lenses. Fine from behind the wire.
This is Congresswoman Kelly. Name? Oh, Megan. And Megan from Kelly's office.
Hey, do we need to clear the drive so the cars can get through?
Yep, get out of the driveway. Get out of the driveway, guys. Get out of the driveway. People's gotta come through.
Can we have you all please back up?
Back it up, please.
Federal
Back
property.
it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back up. Request a member of the media come with us. Come with you.
That's it.
What?
Thank you. Thank you. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you talking. Myself, Omar of Minnesota's 5th District, along with Angie Craig, the Congresswoman for Minnesota's 2nd District, and Kelly Morrison, the Congresswoman for Minnesota's 3rd District, made an attempt to enter Whippley Center here in Minneapolis.
I think we all love Omar.
We were initially invited in to do our congressional oversight and to exercise our Article 1 duties.
Now she is being dishonest. They were let in past the barrier to get away from the press so they could speak with ICE. They were never invited inside to do an inspection of the facility.
When we made it in, it was with the authorization of someone who's been here for a really long time, who understood that we had a congressional duty to enter the building and to see the facility. Shortly after we were let in, 2 officials came in and said that they received a message that we were no longer allowed to be in the building and that they were rescinding our invitation to come in and declining any further access to the building. When we initially entered, I'll briefly describe what we saw. We were taken in to the monitoring center. We were able to see where people were brought in. We were informed that there are 2 planes that are taking off today, taking detainees out of this center into other detention centers outside, within the United States.
Detainees is one way to phrase it. I think we all know these are illegal aliens.
We did ask if those were deportation flights. We were told no. When we entered the detention center, we were able to observe about 20 people that were being detained there briefly. We also were told that there were showers we weren't able to see. We asked if there were hygiene products provided. They told us people are not held long enough to need those, which is insane because we've heard from people who have been detained here before. And so I will let my colleagues also share their observation, but I will end with this. What happened today is a blatant attempt to obstruct members of Congress from doing their oversight duties.
These people never leer. They never leer. She doesn't understand that there's a policy, that there is a procedure to actually get in there. They're not denying access. They're just asking to give them a heads up. They can't just show up at any given time. They're not some freaking auditors. That's not how it works. And even auditors got to give you some time to be ready for it so that the staff can be situated and that everybody knows that it's okay for somebody to come in and do this.
The only obstruction going on is the blatant obstruction of ICE operations throughout the entire country, which is often encouraged and praised by Democrat officials. Omar is a disgrace to America and should be deported along with the illegals she supports.
Yes, sir.
When we appropriate funds as members of Congress, we are expected by the
listen to her talk about funds. Listen to her talk about funds. Okay, all right. Before I let her go, before I continue to let her go, I love it that she mentions a lot of stuff. You know why? They cannot lie forever. The truth always comes out to light. And then let me tell you, when she was doing the interview on the news, she slipped. She looked down after she said it, is trying to hide her words. She said that the ICE agents should have known better to get in front of a vehicle, and yet she has been telling the protesters to put their bodies on the line and to get in front of vehicles. So now she's saying don't get in front of vehicles. So we know about the Somali fraud. We know that in a year she's made $30 million of how? We don't know. But we know the fraud that has happened in Somalia, and because of all the money that taxpayers give every year, well, we expect them to take care of that money and let it go where it needs to go and support what needs to support, and we want accountability. Well, listen to her talk about money. Let's check this out.
Funds as members of Congress, we are expected by the public to do oversight because the public requires their money be used with transparency and accountability. And what happened today is ICE agents deciding that we were no longer allowed to fulfill our constitutional duties. I will turn it over to Congresswoman.
I have been saying that, Knife. You never listen to me. You always like to come in here and be negative. That's why you guys get put in timeout. That's why you go to the corner a lot, because you never listen. Yes, I said it. Hoop time. Dennis is doing more white supremacist rhetoric. Get him, DH. You know, Hope T, this is what we do, baby. This is what we do. You know why they hate me so much? I ain't got no white guilt. Because my little cojones, they're just as brown as they come, my friend. And they can't take that away, can they? Yeah, they can't call me white guilt, can they? They just hate it that I'm a migrant. Why do they hate that? They hate that I'm a migrant. They say they support migrants, right? That come and work and that do a lot of things for this country. They're just here to work. They're just here to find the American dream. What about this migrant? What about this migrant that actually did come here the right way? That did have a family. Nobody cares about me. They don't care about migrants. It's just like about Biden. The Democrats don't care about black people. They ain't black if they don't vote for Democrats. Remember that? They don't care. They don't even care about migrants. They don't even care about Somalis. All they care about is that these people are stupid enough to continue to do what they do in their country, which is to pirate. And isn't it so ironic that Ilhan calls President Trump a pirate? And that grand? Do you see how these people have learned to lie? These people have learned how to commit fraud and then blaming us for their bad leering. It's just not going to happen. When they hire people, 'cause that's what they're doing, right? They're hiring people from Somalia and Somaliland. They hire all these people, bring them to one specific location, and that is not a coincidence. Let me tell you, as a migrant and as a person that has lived in this country for 4 decades, I can tell you that I am nobody's bitch and I am not stupid. The moment that you bring 100,000 people from one area of the country and you put them on the same city, that, my friends, is cheating. You say, oh, Dennis, you're an idiot. See, now I know you're crazy. Now I know. Now I know you're stupid, Dennis. Now, see, this is why we don't like you, Dennis. Always telling us lies. Always telling all this crazy stuff. Well, guess what? All of these people in Minneapolis, in power right now, in government, none of them would have been elected if it wasn't for the Somalis that they brought from Somalia. 100%. And I have heard it from their own lips. This is why they grab Somalis. Because they're pirates, they're scammers, they steal, they lie. And there is not to say that there isn't some good people. But I'm going to tell you something. When you put everybody in one area, that's a bad thing. If you separate them in little bunches, whatever, okay. You know what? They might get a chance to assimilate. But when you put them in one area, all of their behaviors will stick with them. All of their belief will stick with them. And every time that you need to be in power, you go out there, you speak in their language, and you tell them, hey, remember who brought you here. And remember who can send you back and take all of your money and take everything that you own. Remember who brought you here. And you know what? Those people remember. And you know what? A lot of these people, a lot of these Somali people that are here, that are, poor, they don't have a job, they get money. They get money to shut the hell up. And you know what they do with that money? Because they get free housing, because they get free food, they get free health care. Oh, and I got something new for you. If you haven't heard, well, you're going to hear it today. But let me finish this little argument. I'm going to go ahead and land this plane for you right now. They are hiring people to come here, and if they get caught, they don't care. They don't care. They're used to sacrificing their own people. But check this out. I like this. This is from David and from Nick Shirley. It was an interview. They have this scheme, and this is for you white guilt libtards, especially this. Who the hell is Antifa? What's Antifa doing in here? Why is Antifa in my channel? You guys, why are you in here? I know you know what that means, right? Maybe you just put in cute hearts. Maybe you just put in cute hearts. Check this out, guys. I'm gonna tell you, I almost don't want to share this with you because I might want to use this tactic. Check this out. I speak Spanish, right? This is, you guys know that, right? I'm fluent Spanish. That's what I do. Well, Somalis, what they do, now think about it. They all get free health care. All of them. All of them get free health care. Whoo, Molipolio, cash. You know what I'm talking about? I think you guys already know where I'm going with this. They all get health care. And guess what happens when they go to the hospital? I don't speak English. I need a translator. And do you know how much they pay a translator to go translate at the hospital? $100 an hour. And here I am doing 6-7 hours of live for $30. Pathetic. But a translator, so needed by Somalis, they make $100 an hour with a minimum of 8-hour pay. That is $800 daily. Do you think they only go once a week? Every single Somali that goes to the hospital will play that they don't speak English and they'll need a Somali translator and they get that money. And you think they're not going to get a kickback? I am sure they get a kickback somewhere. I'm telling you, it's like collecting leads for a sale. You know, you give somebody $10 for every lead. You give somebody $50. You give somebody a percentage of something for doing something, for asking for. Imagine this. The guy gets paid $800. Now, listen, if you ask for a translator, we're going to give you $100. Do you think that they're not going to do that? Because when somebody gets a salary, and if I'm getting paid $800 a day, times 3, that's $24,000. $24,000 every month. That's piracy. That is corruption. I wish that it was something that, it was needed. But this is the problem when you close your mind to logic. Critical thinking is very important. Have I made a mistake? Of course, I am human. Have I said something is not true? Sure. I'm not going to pretend I'm perfect. I forget names. I forget dates. So what? Certain names and certain days I don't forget. But at any given point, everything that we know can change. But think about that. Oh, here we go. Proof. Do you need proof for that? Find out. You know what? It's okay. Let me see. Let me find out. That's a fair question. Let's see. How much? Translating at the hospital goes anywhere from $50 to $150 an hour for live interpreters, but we won in Minnesota. Oh, check this out. At the hospitals in Minneapolis, professional Somali interpretation is generally free for patients, provided through services like Hennepin Healthcare. Why don't we go visit Hennepin Healthcare? Let me see who is in here. Oh, look at that. American Indian Advocacy, Disability Services, Food Support. Okay. I see some Mexicans in here. I see some Latinos. Hennepin Healthcare, About Us. Let's take a look here. Okay, doctors I can see. Oh my goodness. Guess who is the Chief Administrative Officer? Mr. Abdirahman Abdi. The MBA MHA Chief Administrative Officer. Abdirahman Abdi joined Hennepin Healthcare as Chief Administrative Officer in 2024. In this role, he is responsible for administrative support functions, including facilities, security, environmental services, food service, information services, and technology. Holy crap. And human resource, people, and culture. Abdirahman has a breadth of experience in strategic and financial leadership in healthcare, having served as a chief financial officer at Hennepin Health in finance and analytic leadership roles, at Fairview Health, financial planning and analysis roles at the United Health Group and Target Corporation. Abdirahman earned his MBA from the University of St. Thomas, Opus College of Business. I don't even know what the hell that is, but I'm sure it's a college somewhere. Lisa Genvet Anderson, of course, they had to have a white woman in there. Let's go. We got Nika Sederstrom, PhD. Doctors, I'm not too concerned about doctors, but the people that manage the money, absolutely. So I can tell you right now that these people have been running around hiding themselves from the public. But let me see if I can find this actual clip. Let's see if I can find it. I don't promise you, but let me see if I can find it real quick. You guys go ahead and finish listening to this witch. Ilhan Omar.
I'm Angie Craig of Minnesota's 2nd Congressional District.
We were allowed to briefly enter the control room of the detention facility, but were not allowed many more steps thereafter. There was an abrupt decision that we should return to a waiting area and await leadership to come and tell us what was going on. When they arrived, they told us that we are not allowed in the building, that they were rejecting our appeal as duly elected members of Congress from the state of Minnesota from observing the detention center. I came with this court case because that is absolute nonsense. The response was that because the funding for this center came from the one big beautiful bill, not a congressional appropriations bill, that they were denying our access. This document, this court case, refutes that. They would not have a conversation, leadership in the facility, and answer any questions at that point. Look, we're here because we're members of Congress. We have every right and responsibility, if we're doing our jobs, to be here today to see what the conditions are in that detention center.
No, you do not have every right to barge into an ICE facility with no warning and no prior approval in the middle of active riots in Minnesota due to the failed leadership of Minnesota.
We are going to continue to show up. We're going to continue to do our job. We let ICE know, Department of Homeland Security know, that they were violating federal law.
No, you are violating federal law by going into that building without permission. I will tell you what, I was going to look for that clip for you guys to watch, but I know that a lot of people will probably just deny what I'm going to say. So do yourselves a favor, and myself, and why don't you go to Nick Shirley's channel and listen to the whole video on all this Minnesota stuff. You know what? He did a tremendous job. He went and found the golden pot at the end of the rainbow. This man, Dave, has a lot of information that is beneficial to many, many people. And if you want to find out and you say you want proof, I recommend that you go and visit Nick Shirley's channel. But let's go ahead and finish here with Crime Boss.
They do not care that they are violating federal law.
What about the federal immigration law that you encourage illegals to violate, and you claim it's not a crime to enter the country illegally when we all know that's a blatant lie?
Damn! How's she going to brush off that lie? Crime Chef, you need to go down there and talk to these people. Imagine that. I've always said this, guys. I always say this. Why do they say illegal? Oh, this is illegal. This is illegal. Bitch, you guys are illegal. You got no room to talk. You encourage, harbor, protect illegal immigrants. You guys protect and harbor criminals, crime-infested communities. You guys do that. That is illegal. So we're going to get somewhere. We're going to get somewhere with this illegal. I'm telling you, all of these people, Ilhan Omar, she knows she's done. She knows she's toasted. And this white guilt lady right here to her left, Congress from the 2nd District, she is also cooked. I can tell you, man, I am almost certain that almost 100% of all these Democrat politicians that are in office, especially in Minnesota, well, in all the blue states where they keep winning, there is a reason for that. Imagine Seattle, Washington. White people, you guys are second class. American citizens, you're second class. If you're not LGBTQ, then you are not allowed to be hired. They need DEI. Socialists win by offering free where nothing is free. They gather all these people, all the same kind of... Oh my gosh, dude. There was thousands of people being registered to churches, homeless people, which technically don't have the right to vote because they don't have a residency. They're not residents of anything. So Democrats allow them to register all these homeless people to a church address, and they were allowed to vote. Well, guess who they voted for? Those who offered them to have free food, free housing. That's right. And the rest of you law-abiding citizens and other legal migrants, you guys do get to pick the bill. Nothing is free. Somebody always has to pay for it. Think about that. Think about that.
Kelly?
My friend, SoCal, man, bro, I am trying to throw you a bone. If you don't have proof of residency, do you know how voting works? Do you know how voting works? Oh, brother. Oh, brother.
Yeah, Congresswoman Kelly Morrison, Minnesota's 3rd District. I just want to step back and let's talk about our humanity. I agree with my colleagues. Everything that they said is accurate. As a physician myself, I was very interested to see what the conditions inside were. We were very briefly allowed to go in, but we saw no beds. We saw a lot of young men sitting with their heads in their hands. We were not allowed to speak to any of them. I have privacy forms that I was ready to hand out to constituents. We are better than this. This is not what our great American project should be about.
This is just one more example of this administration and Kristi Noem violating the law. This is an out-of-control Trump's ICE. And what people at home should take is that they should call their Republican members of Congress. We need Minnesota Republicans, we need Republicans across this country to stand up to their own party. This is beyond the pale. This administration continues to use Minnesota as a political stunt. And earlier this week, it got a woman killed.
That woman got herself killed by driving a vehicle at an ICE agent and ignoring his orders. And Democrat leaders played a major role because they encouraged this type of behavior and spread the lies that ICE is acting illegally and constantly comparing them to Nazis. That blood is on Democrat hands.
They also said to put their bodies on the line and that nothing is going to change unless there is bloodshed. Well, now they got their blood. Let's see what happens.
As they are detaining individuals across Minnesota and across this country, it is our job as members of Congress to make sure that those folks detained are treated with humanity, because we are the damn United States of America, and we don't treat people the way that this administration is treating people in our country. We are better than this.
No.
Shut the hell up. We're better than this. What about you letting all your rampant constituents going around breaking the law, obstructing federal agents? That is breaking the law. Why do you wash your hands and put your stupidity on somebody else as guilty?
Oh, your job as an elected official is to act in the best interest of American citizens. Instead, you prioritize the well-being of illegal alien invaders rather than the American public. An absolute disgrace.
This is not a partisan statement. We are better than this, America.
Congresswoman, and I think the other thing that people should know is that this is a blatant disregard of the law.
Democrats ignore federal immigration law every single day. The hypocrisy and dishonesty from these Democrats is unreal.
We are seeing ICE pick up people, not allowing them to have access to their attorneys, to their family members, not allowing access to information that their family members could provide. We've also seen them being denied the ability to contact their members of Congress so that we can liaison and get the proper information that is needed and give comfort to their families of their whereabouts. This hasn't happened before. This is a brand new policy. And when people are disappeared in the darkness, American democracy dies.
Congresswoman,
and it is really important for every single person in this country to understand that they are not only disappearing people who have committed crimes, who are in this country undocumented. They are disappearing.
I'm sorry, but she gets on my nerves so bad, man. She gets on my nerves so bad. I know why she's in power. It's because of Somalis. But I don't understand why these white guilty people are in here on her side. They must be getting paid somehow.
You as citizens, they are disappearing people who have proper documentation, sometimes telling them that their documentations are wrong, keeping them for days upon days. We've also seen people be deported who have proper documentation yet to be returned to this country.
That's right.
This should not be allowed in a country that rules.
I don't take anything about immigration from a woman that lied and married her brother to get papers for him, been married 4 times, including her brother's marriage. I don't take anything about immigration from her serious at all. And if you do, you're an idiot. Let me play a little clip from my Facebook page.
On Washington Street Southwest, 1,000 people. Why would 1,000?
If you want to debunk this video, you can go and do some research on the people registered to a specific address on public records. We're not going to do all that stuff. You can either believe it or not.
People be registered to vote from one single location, 201 Washington Street Southwest. And when you come here, you realize that this is actually a church. What was happening when we were looking through the voter registration list from the previous election cycle is I noticed well over 1,000 people registered from one single location. Come to find out, it's a church. When we looked into it further, we realized what was actually happening here. It's actually a very well...
The times that we live in today, we are giving a new law. You were given the right to reproduce back in the old Listen, bro, don't bring the Bible if you don't even believe in God. Shut the hell up. I don't even know why I try to answer that. You don't deserve my answer.
Organized plan by Democrat donors like George Soros. George Soros poured in millions into an organization here in Atlanta that did what? They went around this entire place and signed up all the homeless people. It's during the day right now, so you don't see all the homeless people, but usually this place is filled with homeless people. So an organization that supports Democrats received money from people like George Soros to go and register homeless people to be able to vote from one
249,000. No big deal.
Single place. And to make things even crazier, if we turn around, this place is directly across the Georgia Capitol. All it took for me is to find the voter list and to see why is there more than 1,000 people able to register from one place to realize that something is wrong here. The building right next to 201 Washington Street is actually a Catholic church. Well, guess what? This place, 48 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Southwest, has registered over 2,000 people to vote from one single location. And guess who it was? It was the progressive organization signing up homeless people that are literally right across the street. It's freezing here in Atlanta. It's actually 35 degrees at 1 p.m. But usually all of this area is filled up with the homeless people. And again, we're outside one of these mega churches that ended up registering more than 1,000 people to vote from just one single place. Why would 1,000 people be registered?
You see what I'm saying? Shame. Hey, look, guys, don't get in front of the vehicle. There you go. Oh, man, I got to watch this now. Move the phone up so you can record better. There you go. Get the hell out the way. It's like these people want to get run over. Somebody said to the ICE agent, don't do that. All right, finish up.
Roots in itself in freedom and liberty. There is no freedom when you are being detained and your government is being turned against you.
If they are here illegally, then this is not their government. Their government is back in their home country.
This should be appalling to everyone.
Everything.
Which, by the way, she says that her president is the Somali president. That tells you everything.
The Democrats have done recently is appalling to me. If you want to stay up to date on ICE news, then consider subscribing to my channel. I cover the...
Visit the Crime Chef. Visit and subscribe. The guy tries to put as many clip videos that we can play here often enough so that we can have our fun at the end of our presentation. Now, I'm going to turn out, and I'm going to throw this out there, okay? Let's get something straight. Let's get something straight. You, at some point, were able to marry your cousin, first cousin, not your brother, not your sister, your first cousin. I get it. Somalis do that all the time. Most of them do, they marry their brothers and sisters and their first cousins. I get it, okay? That's a problem. Now, people go and tell me that the age for Israel to be married for children at a young age, I agree. That is part of their culture. But here's the thing. The Bible doesn't give a strict minimum age for marriage, okay? But culturally, Israelites marry young, with girls often betrothed around 12 and 13 and married soon after, while rabbis suggested men ideally marry between 18 and 20 years old, though often later with the Talmud mentioning as 18 as ideal. Somebody mentioned the Talmud, trying to compare it to Mohammed's pedophile behavior, marrying a 6-year-old little girl. Now, I know that I believe, I shouldn't even say I know anymore, because I believe that a young man at the age of 13, which is of puberty age, that's when you become a man, a young man, okay? Now, the problem that we have here is in this country, we believe that a person that is older than 18 cannot lay with a minor of 18 years old. Now, if you're going to go ahead and support Muslims, then you should have no problem with Epstein's file. You shouldn't have any problems with Epstein's Island. No Muslim should have a problem with Epstein's Island. Not one. Not one, because they believe that it's okay to do. And that is the difference between Christians. Now, I'm going to say, there's always somebody doing something stupid in any religion. I get that. But we don't support that. We don't like that, and we don't stand for it, okay? So I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. Now, I want to share this from my Facebook page as we're closing down here, because somebody told me that Israel was never in Egypt as slaves. Well, let me take a listen to this guy. This guy is actually, he's pretty famous. Well, you know, he's got over 1 million subscribers. Cutting Edge, what's up, baby? Man, you coming in here towards the end. You are not going to make me stay here until 10.
This is one of the greatest biblical archaeology discoveries in all of history, proving the Exodus as well as Israel's existence nearly 1,400 years before Jesus walked the earth. Watch this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most amazing archaeological discoveries in history related to the Bible. This is the Merneptah stela. There was a pharaoh in Egypt by the name of Merneptah. He came right after Ramses II. And this stela, this victory statement, comes from 1208 BC. So this thing is over 3,200 years old. And if you look down here, you can see how it's kind of worn more black because people were actually touching the inscription that mentioned that Israel as a nation had been laid waste by Pharaoh Merneptah in 1208 BC. Well, how could that be if the Exodus took place in the 1200s like many people say? The much more consistent date for the Exodus, according to the Bible and archaeology, is the Exodus took place in the 1400s BC, particularly according to the Bible, 1446 BC. That would have given the Israelites enough time to get into the land and become a nation, so later Merneptah could brag that he had beaten them. This is amazing. It's 3,200 years old, and it's got Israel on it.
Israel in my heart. Israel in my heart. Let me see. What is this? Why did I share this? Oh, yeah. No. We got to continue sharing here. All right. This guy, he's from Seattle. You know what? We'll leave that for tomorrow morning. We'll do that for tomorrow morning. Unless I see a super chat of 50 plus. You know what I'm talking about? Unless there is a super chat of 50 plus on there, I am good. I am good for the day. No EBTs, guys. Sorry. No EBTs are taken. I do not take EBT. No EBTs. Maybe tomorrow, if you didn't learn anything tonight, maybe tomorrow you will learn something. Man, it's so hard to keep using that, bro. I'll tell you, it's so hard for me to talk that way. Paul Saucy. Oh, man, what's popping, man? I got to get out of here, bro. Thank you guys for being here with me. Yes, sir. Collins, thank you for stopping by. Finger, thanks for stopping by again, brother. Sis, thank you for making it. Omar, as always, keep sending that info, little brother. You're keeping me up to speed. I appreciate you. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. This, thanks, Bryce. Appreciate you, brother. Cutting edge. If I remember good, a special unit in Iraq investigated the behavior of the Taliban. Almost 80% of them are gay. Bro, stop making up lies, man. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. Don't be getting me in trouble with that, bro. Don't worry about it, guys. Hey, thank you so much, man. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys' support. There's a lot of leftist people, a lot of libtards, a lot of haters. They're not even just like libtards, guys. They're not even libtards. They're just hateful people. Big shout out to Christian Brush Babe. I know your name, but I know you don't want to say that in here. So I want to say big shout out and happy birthday, Christian. God loves you. And we are happy that you are 1 year older today. May God give you many, many more. And don't forget, live for God and help your mother every single day of your life that you can. You guys be blessed. Hey, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the USA. I will see you in the morning. We'll talk a little bit about Washington State and continue what happens around the whole country. Be good.